Yeah, man. A really big game, too, which is great for Thursday Night Football back-to-back weeks. That Ravens-Bengals game was fantastic. We're going to learn a hell of a lot about, I think, this Eagles team, where they're at, especially during that win streak, and the quarterbacks that they've faced, aside from Joe Burrow. We'll learn where the progress of this defense is and the maturity and the growth.
The idea that the progress and everything, do you find yourself in the believer camp that what you've seen is sustainable? You're not leveraging it too much on the opposition that they've faced?
John, I take it after the 10-1 experience last year. I take it one game at a time. I'm not making plans because, again, the next 3 weeks, you got the Commanders, then you got the Rams, and then you got the Ravens. We'll learn a lot about this team defensively over the next 3 weeks when they play these type of quarterbacks, right? So, like, it's hard to come away with anything except, hey, they're creating turnovers. They are in the right place. The growth of the two rookie cornerbacks continues to be fantastic. The linebacker play is elevated. Jalen Carter's playing phenomenal. So, like, I look at it like, hey, you handle your business against the Cooper Rush-led Cowboys. Great. And that was a fantastic performance, I think, because especially in the second half, they were just all over the place, and I love that. But I can't carry week to week the expectations of big picture. To me, it's like, what are we going to learn this week? What are we going to learn this week? What are we going to learn this week? Because, I mean, Drew has brought this up on the build-up and introing me. Like, a lot of this is the wild card of the coach, man. What does he want to do? How is he going to approach it? I just think the assistants and the coordinators have done a really, really good job in understanding and establishing since the bye week.
So your alias might be Eric Edholm. Eric Edholm writes for the NFL.com, Kevin, and he does the power rankings for them week in and week out. And in his blurb for the Eagles, he wrote, given how last year unfolded, when Philly went from a 10-1 start to losing a road wildcard game, it's a bit foolish to look too far ahead, especially with more tough remaining opponents than easy ones. Would you agree with that sentiment?
Yeah, absolutely. And then, again, the next 3 weeks, let's see how we feel about this team. I think this is a critical game because it's obviously a division game, and you're battling for the top. And also you need to send a message to Jaden Daniels, you know, with this being his first game in this rivalry. And when I say rivalry, there's a generation that doesn't understand that this was a rivalry probably 3-4 decades ago. To me, like, it's really hard because, again, like, we all thought something and we all felt something last year where it was like something was amiss. And I listen, Nick did his job. He didn't make noise, didn't make the news. I still just don't trust the head coach. And when you're in, and I ranted about this last week on Get Up, when you have so superior talent and this type of talent that the Eagles and Howie Roseman put together, you're going to win games against bad teams. What's going to be the difference against a good team? It's the coaching decision in critical moments. And this is going to be a big litmus test here. You're going to play a really good team. What's going to be the coaching decisions? Are you going to get in the way, or are you going to find a way to help your team? And I hate to bang on this drum constantly, but that question has not been answered. Hasn't been answered in quite some time.
It's a team that's really easy to pass on, or at least the numbers will tell you can pass on Washington, and they don't tackle well defensively. There's a lot of things that make me go, how is this team 7-3? And how have they surprised? Is it just the quarterback?
I think it's the belief. Listen, their defense had a lot of flaws coming into the season. Everybody felt that way. There's a reason why they went and acquired Marshawn Lattimore, who won't play, still dealing with an injury. But, like, they have a ton of holes. But when you look at a week-to-week schedule and the momentum and the belief in a quarterback, we could see it. You see a certain magic, right? We went through that in Carson Wentz's potential MVP year before his injury, right? Things are just coming together, and you're finding ways to win. We've seen that magic with a quarterback come in. We saw that with Jalen Hurts 2 years ago, right? You find ways to win. I think that's what Washington has. Here's one thing that Washington also has struggled with against running quarterbacks, and hopefully we see a good mix, and we don't fall in love with we've got to pass. You get, again, you mentioned, go to the strength of the team, and that is 26 getting the ball, that is 1 running with the football, that then eventually opens up the big play down the field.
Kevin, I know you know all about his story because you are a great Eagles fan, but this past Sunday during the NFL broadcast on CBS, it was the first time I saw Zack Baun get highlighted on an NFL broadcast, and Jim Nantz and Tony Romo did the under-the-radar player. At what point is he a big talking point across ESPN? Because he's now all of a sudden NFC Defensive Player of the Week, and he's become an incredible story here in Philadelphia.
First off, it's the first time that we've seen anything like that on a linebacker in quite some time.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Right? I don't know. It's just stacking it, and then when you're elevated in primetime games like tonight, and like eventually, I would imagine that Ravens-Eagles game, I haven't even looked at the schedule, will be an elevated game.
That's 425.
Okay,
That's a network CBS. I think they already have their teeth in that one.
There you go. So you'll have basically a national audience there, majority of the country, right? That's kind of how you gain the notoriety around in conversations and in circles. So to me, it's a quiet. He's exactly what the Eagles needed: understated, quiet, outperforming, and doing his job each and every week. And there's no hype around him. And I think Eagles fans have been clamoring for a linebacker like this for years, and to have one like that who has a chip on his shoulder, right? Remember, he was overlooked and passed on, and he didn't have a majority of the role and the reps that you were seeing here that he had in New Orleans. It's great, and I thought Fangio's done a really, really good job of understanding the talent that he has on this team, and then leaning into that talent more than anything else, instead of I've got to play somebody because I have no choice. Fangio's old school curmudgeon. I'm going to play who I want to play, and it's just really cool to see that the way this defense, and how many years have we been used to seeing the defensive line dominate and have the weakness on the second level and third level. It's really cool to see that the strength of this team is on the third and second level, and that they're starting to get better on that first line because of the play of Jalen Carter.
The idea that this Eagles team now, with what they've faced, is ready for this matchup. Are you one of those people who believes that, when you go and you say, "Hey, I'm ready for the next matchup," because of it doesn't matter the competition that I've faced, it doesn't matter the teams that I beat.
Yeah, man, long overdue. They've got to get tested, right? The only time I've seen them really, really tested against the team, not because of their fault, because you can say that third quarter and fourth quarter of the Jacksonville game was their fault of testing themselves. The Bengals opening drive against Joe Burrow, where they take 10 minutes and they score. How many of us watching that game were like, here we go again? Oh, my gosh, this is going to be a long day. And they completely turned the tables on that game, especially in that fourth and short stop by Cooper DeJean. And to me, it was a humongous test of what they did in the second half. And they were fantastic in that game on the road in Cincinnati. You're not going to get that against Jameis Winston and the Browns. You're not going to get that against Cooper Rush and Trey Lance and the Cowboys. What you're going to get is, okay, you got to win this game. This is tonight a test, and I think they're ready for it. I think the Philadelphia fan base has been waiting to see them get a little bit tested. Remember the gauntlet that we went through last year?
Oh, yeah.
It felt like it was unnecessary, and we didn't need to be tested every single week. Right now, I think this team needs to be tested in this 3-week stretch. If they win tonight, I feel really good about, splitting the next 2 games moving forward.
Do they get the win tonight, Kevin?
Yeah, I think they get the win. I think they're way too talented on the offensive side. I think that their defense is playing lights out. Terry McLaurin's had his way with us. I look forward to McLaurin versus Quinyon. Quinyon's been really good. Notice we don't talk about him. That's a sign of a great defensive back if you're not talking about him. I think he's the type of guy that loves challenges like this, and he has a chip on his shoulder, which is fantastic for a rookie that doesn't back down. I really like how the Eagles I will tell you this. I don't think it's going to be a blowout because if you look at the history, even when Washington was bad, they still played us. I mean, let's not forget last year where you're in D.C. and you're like, why is this game close and we've got to go to overtime? I think you're going to see a very close game just because that's how it's the nature of this rivalry is. It'll be a touchdown game, but I feel really good about the Eagles. I just hope the head coach makes good decisions, doesn't try to prove to America that he's got onion.
I hear you, Kevin. Completely agree with you. Listen, man, we appreciate the time as always. We love our conversations with you every single Thursday, and we can't wait to talk to you again next week.
Thanks, Kev.
Fellas, be good. Go Birds.
Go Birds. And go Owls. 3-0, man. With the